Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Quick shout out to my newest patrons, Richard and Fred. Thank you for choosing to support the channel. First up, this was hands down the craziest, most aggressive move I have seen the FSD beta pull. You have to see this.
No way. Holy balls. Holy balls. Woo! That was crazy.
So first of all, hopefully you were not offended by the driver's commentary, but I really enjoyed his emotion and excitement. But what do you think? Is this too much? Is it over the top? Obviously it pulled it off successfully. And I do think this should serve as a reminder that in the future, as FSD becomes more mature, it will be able to pull off things that humans can't. I'm not saying that we should expect it to be doing stuff like this all the time, or even that it's necessarily a good thing at this point. However, long term, it will be much better, quicker, all of those things than a human driver. This was shared by Tesla chauffeur, linked below. Next up, Tesla had a recall today, but we'll go through it quickly. It's basically a big nothing burger. Tesla agreeing to fix the rolling stop feature over safety concerns from the FSD beta. This recall, which will really be an OTA update, is going to be for all Tesla vehicles 3, S, X, and Y, covering about 53,000 vehicles in total. A few weeks back, Tesla added a feature for the FSD beta to have rolling stops for both the average and assertive modes, as you can see here. NHTSA has said entering an all-way stop intersection without coming to a complete stop may increase the risk of collision. I would actually argue it may increase the risk of collision if you do come to a complete stop by being rear-ended from somebody behind you. However, Tesla is not aware of any collisions, injuries, or fatalities related to this condition. Just so you know, this feature was only enabled below 5.6 miles per hour and when the FSD beta could not see any moving vehicles, pedestrians, or cyclists. Tesla actually met with NHTSA on January 10th and the 19th to discuss the functionality, including operating parameters, and Tesla agreed on January 20th to the recall, once again, over-the-air update. A firmware release to disable the rolling stops is expected to be sent out in early February. Remember, just the way NHTSA has it set up, that these will still be considered recalls even though they're just an over-the-air software update, and this will seemingly be handled probably in the next few days and it will become a non-event. In Georgia, where Rivian is building its next factory, it looks like they will run into the same issues that Tesla currently has in Texas when it comes to actually selling their vehicles in the state. Senators have filed legislation to change that. According to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution on Friday, Senate Bill 398 would permit direct sales, allowing automakers to sidestep franchise dealerships. A reminder for this factory, construction is scheduled to start this summer with a goal of starting production in 2024. Just so you know, there was another piece of legislation to allow direct sales that failed in Georgia's House of Representatives last year. Cool video here shared by Ray for Tesla. Every made in China Tesla goes through a various rigorous tests at Giga Shanghai. In this clip, vehicles are seen undergoing a leak check under a simulated downpour, which is twice as heavy as the biggest rainfall in history. Let's just hope they check what happens when they open the trunk. Here we have a screenshot of Tesla offering a membership option for non-Tesla owners to use the supercharger network. Right now, there's the pay per use or pay as you go plan, which gives you access to the network, but it does not give you the lowest price per kilowatt hour. Now Tesla is offering a membership. This is Norwegian krona. This would be 129 as they use commas instead of decimals. So doing a quick conversion, 129 Norwegian krona equals about 15 United States dollars. So is that a good value? Well, if we look at this screenshot, we can see the current charging price without a membership is 4.6 krona. Another conversion, that would be about 52 cents. Okay, so we have that. Compare that to the price per kilowatt hour with a membership, that would be 2.6 Norwegian krona. So 2.6 would be about 29 cents. So it would go from 52 cents per kilowatt hour down to 29 cents per kilowatt hour, roughly a 43% discount. Of course, this boils down to how often the user will supercharge. So figuring out the break even, if you take the 23 cents per kilowatt hour that you would save with the membership times about 65 kilowatt hours, that would give you roughly $15. So if you charge more than about 65 kilowatt hours per month, it would make sense to have the membership. Moving on, in the Tesla shop, there is now a Model 3 glass roof sunshade for $160, linked below. We covered this yesterday. The Model 3 won the title of the best-selling EV in the world. However, I did not mention it was the 4th straight year. However, that might be the last because yes, the Model Y will most likely take that spot for 2022. Now, I do want to take a second to talk about what's going on with Joe Rogan because yes, one, Elon has been getting involved and adding some commentary, laughing at what the Babylon Bee said, the entire establishment is threatened by a comedian who gets high and talks about MMA and aliens. So very true. But this is actually way deeper than just that. This gets to the core of free speech. It's been going on for some time, but I just want to bring it up and remind everybody that this really does matter. No matter where you stand, what your views are, free speech is something that is foundational to America and what it was built on, and I believe we need to fight for it. And please don't interpret this as me picking sides because right now I am not. I do have opinions on this, and that brings me to another thing. I have been working on a project behind the scenes where I'll be able to share more of my thoughts and opinions. I don't think this is the best forum to do that. So in the next few weeks, stay tuned. You will learn more about it. I'm very excited for it. And this new project will have me working on something called Tesla by the Numbers, where I dig into the financials and break things down for you. So once again, very excited. That's what I've been doing behind the scenes, so stay on the lookout for that. However, with regard to the mainstream media, Elon said they've been writing bogus articles about Tesla and me for years. In the end, it's their own credibility that suffers. Lex Friedman said, props to Spotify for backing Joe Rogan, freedom wins, podcasting is pirate radio. If you're not familiar, there was a lot of controversy. Joe Rogan has been talking about the sickness on his podcast. Some people are claiming he's been spreading misinformation, and now some musicians are actually removing their music from Spotify because they don't want to be related or involved with what Joe Rogan is saying. Elon then tweeted this meme. This is Neil Young, one of the artists removing his music from Spotify. Says, if you won't censor the guy I don't like, that being Joe Rogan, I won't let you listen to Keep On Rocking in the Free World, a song by Neil Young. Elon also added an ominous 3 dots in response to a tweet he made over a year ago saying, formerly mainstream media has systemic, negative, and political bias about almost everything. Reading major newspapers makes you feel sad and angry. That's why they're being crushed by Joe Rogan. Likes and retweets of old media are extremely low, sharing an ironic article. To be clear, I am not at all saying you need to agree with Joe Rogan or anything like that. I'm just saying at the heart of this is free speech. And given that we are all reliant to these platforms, social media and others, they need to allow us to have that free speech. And we've been walking down a dangerous path, in my opinion. I personally do not want to live in a world where the owners of these platforms decide who gets to say what. I personally do not want to live in a world where the owners of said platforms make the ultimate decisions on whose voice gets heard and whose does not, which would ultimately allow them to control the narrative. And yes, I know this is happening to some degree already with the algorithms and everything. However, it's something we all need to be aware of and start thinking more about as we head into the future. And lastly, this new project I am working on should be ready sometime by mid-March. Moving on, from Alwyn on Twitter, tried the non-Tesla supercharging in Norway. Great in-app user experience, best on the market, will make many more people open to Tesla. This is definitely going overlooked. I personally would love Tesla to open up the supercharger network to more non-Teslas because I do think ultimately it will lead to more Tesla owners, in addition to all of the financial benefits Tesla will incur. Just a reminder that Elon himself, one of the busiest men on the planet, is a gamer, saying Halo Infinite campaign is good, Harbinger battle on L is tough. Here we have Elon taking a shot at Lucid in response to a Holmars tweet and video talking about how Lucid Air delivered some vehicles without Dream Drive, adaptive cruise, or automatic emergency braking. Shows what a powerful differentiator software has become for Tesla. Elon agreeing, saying Tesla has great respect for software engineering. They, meaning Lucid, do not. Then he added, Tesla is as much a software company as it is a hardware company, both in car and in factory. This is not widely understood. Just a little bit about this Dream Drive whenever it may arrive, which is supposed to come via an OTA update this year. The tech suite employs 32 ultrasonic sensors. That's a lot. It also has 14 visible light cameras, 5 radar units, and 4 surround view cameras working in tandem. Further than that, with the Dream Drive Pro, whenever that comes, the Lucid Air will become the first automotive application of LiDAR in the States. Now, of course, LiDAR is being used by other companies in the States. I believe they meant this would be the first real commercial or consumer application on a vehicle. And Lucid's highway assist feature is supposed to let the driver take their hands off the wheel. The point here, there's a lot of hardware built into these Lucid vehicles, but right now the software is not allowing that hardware to do very much. These were the features that were supposed to be delivered by Lucid in January. I have not been able to confirm if they have been delivered or not at scale, but we're talking simple things like adaptive cruise control, automatic emergency braking, lane departure protection, etc., etc. Interesting development here shared by James Cat on Twitter. Tesla is building an elevated bridge from the paint shop to the general assembly 4 and 4.5 lines at Fremont. Once again, this is just a great reminder of how incredible it is that Tesla has been able to produce the vehicles it has at Fremont using this makeshift factory in more ways than one. It really is incredibly impressive and just serves as a reminder of how amazing Giga Texas is going to be relative to Fremont. What this raised bridge is for at this point, nobody seems to know for sure. I wanted to comment on this tweet from AI Proxima. My buddy's financial advisors who warned him not to invest in Tesla the past several years didn't even know about the 2 new Tesla factories in Texas and Berlin when he talked to them last week. Now, yes, this is definitely bad. However, I was a financial advisor and I just want you to know, financial advising is a holistic approach. It looks at everything from budgeting, working with the people, helping them to save and to do 529 planning, estate planning, insurance, portfolio construction, all of these things. Financial advisors are not just stock pickers. Second, most financial advisors working at reputable companies have a team at the home office that provide them with data on companies, usually one sheets that give you what they need to know about stocks and how those stocks can fit into a profile given the risk tolerance of the clients. So I don't want to sound like I'm defending this necessarily. However, to expect your financial advisor to understand the ins and outs of every single company that they are going to recommend to clients is just not feasible. They're not stock pickers. Most normal people actually don't even really own individual stocks. This investment community is very different than the public at large. That's where mutual funds and all of these other investment vehicles come into play. Now, I would say that yes, I do believe financial advisors today really need to know more about at least the main big companies that are changing the world and the ones that most clients would have an interest in owning. But I just wanted to clear the air. Financial advisors are not stock analysts. And while a financial advisor may not be beneficial to you, I can guarantee you from working with thousands of people, there are plenty of people that do benefit greatly from working with a financial advisor. Kent C. Dodds on Twitter shared his story. He got in this horrific accident and he is ultimately okay. Yes, he was in a Tesla. Looking at these pictures, he even said himself he had no business walking away from this. But once again, one of the main reasons to own a Tesla is not the tech, it's not the fun, it's not the speed, it's the safety. And I'll send you guys off for the day with some commentary from Dan Levy at Credit Suisse. Please take a second to like the video if you did. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.
Dan, welcome. Why Tesla? Why now?
Thank you so much, Tyler.
You bet.
Look, I think what's been pretty clear in the last year and a half is that we've seen really strong fundamentals out of Tesla. We've seen positively inflecting volumes. Basically, every unit they produce, they can sell. The margins have surprised sharply to the upside. I think the challenge for us was always in the valuation. And with this market pullback, we see an attractive entry point that we think it's smart to take advantage of.
And where do you think the stock can go from where it is today? I see on the Chiron there, 1,025.
Our target price is $1,000.25. We do have a blue sky case of 1,700. Look, I think that Tesla stock is a function of both fundamentals, but also non-fundamental factors. So to the extent that the fundamentals continue to remain supportive, and if you have any sort of a resumed appetite for growth, that should support upside for the stock.
Dan, let's talk about valuation. Are you looking at price to earnings or what metric?
Yeah, thanks, Kelly. So our valuation methodology is based off of an outlook on 2030. It is based on a PE outlook at that time, and we discount it back. But we're also embedding other probabilities for upside and downside scenarios. So while we may not per se directly embed upside from something like robotaxi in our base case, we are embedding some upside optionality through those other bull cases. And that's how we get some upside to our target price and also supporting the blue sky scenario.
So let's talk about competition here. It's not as if the field is not crowded and about to get more so. Does Tesla have a moat or a puddle?
It is a moat. We definitely think that there is some narrowing of the gap between Tesla and its competition. We're definitely seeing more product come out. It's compelling product, but the reality is that Tesla has done a very good job maintaining its market share until now. And I think the key point here, really, in the EV market is this is a market that's right now not defined by demand so much as it is by supply. Whatever you can produce, you're going to sell. And I think where Tesla has a lead is not only on very compelling product that we still haven't seen anyone fully catch up to Tesla, but also that they have very favorable supply dynamics. They've really thought very holistically about the entire supply chain. And so we feel comfortable that as they continue to get more capacity online, that should drive further volume growth and really maintain that lead.
How much is Tesla's value attributable to the Musk factor?
Listen, there is definitely a Musk premium that's embedded in the stock. But I think we've seen more than that in the stock. I think you have a stock here that checks all the boxes in terms of hyper growth, in terms of sustainability, disruption. Elon Musk obviously plays a key role in that, but they've executed to that really in the past year and a half. And this is where I think, while I think the market's not fully embedding much of the opportunity on autonomous, and our call today is not really about what they're doing in autonomous, to the extent that someone was willing to embed that probability in the valuation, they get a bit more of that credit simply because they've done so well on disruption up until now.